So all of us have been there, I'm pretty sure. Somebody at a campfire starting another verse of Drunken Sailor? Or somebody needing to blow off steam and bringing a karaoke machine by the end of the night. Or maybe a college LARP or a school LARP where you have to take a drama class or audition for a school play. I will be talking about the performing arts in LARP, because I think that sometimes as designers, we do not get everything out of performing arts we could get out of them. And in order to do that, I would like to propose some design questions that we thought up over the past months, and I would love input about them later. But before we start, we need to define what performing arts means. And the dictionary tells us performing arts are forms of creative activity that are performed in front of an audience, such as drama, music, and dance. Great. So, for the purpose of performing arts in LARP, for one, we are not looking at performance alone. We are also looking at the art of exploring performance, drama classes, testing things out, feeling feels, trying scenes, singing songs amongst ourselves in the hallways. We cannot look at performance only, because if we look at performance only, we are in some point undermining what our art is about. It's an audience-less art form. So when we bring in an audience and to watch these performing arts according to the definition, we are introducing an entirely new magic circle within our arts, and it gets really complicated from there. I'm proposing a couple of sliders, faders, much like they are in the mixing desk. And the first one tries to answer the question, who is performing? And who is the initiator? Is that an organizer or is that a participant? Sometimes it's a conscious choice from an organizer to invite somebody to play a bard for an entire weekend to frame their fantasy game. Sometimes it's the player who's like, I really want to sing a campfire song this time. Sometimes it's the organizer saying, the only way we can get this scene across is if we do this little play somewhere and we have our NPCs do it. Sometimes it's the players who are like, let's not bring out that karaoke machine. Let's instead do a cool scene at the party. And then there's the performer. Is the player performing or is the character performing? And who wants to perform? Does the player want to perform or does the character want to perform? Because I've talked to a lot of people who've done something with performing arts in LARP over the last couple of years. And most of them are incredibly intrinsically motivated as a player, and then create a really thin alibi for their character to be allowed to do that thing they want to do. So I'm also pleading for more conscious choices on the character side. Write that character who can lead that choir, who can lead that campfire song, and listen to your players if they want to do that and they want that character. So the next question would be, what are we performing? It seems really obvious, but context is important. So we can have diegetic performances where the songs and things are actually happening in the fiction. We can have meta performances. I always like to use cabaret as an example because it has both. It has the stage group who diegetically performs the act openers, which are meant to provoke reactions from the players. But it also has meta songs, which function as inner monologues for the characters, where they sing about their thoughts and feelings and emotions that are only perceived by the players as an audience and not the characters who are in the club, even though it happens in a club setting, much like the movie of the same name. And then there's material, big pet peeve of a lot of people. Are you allowing people to pick from the entire catalog of that karaoke model you brought? Or do they get restriction to a certain time? Do they get to perform pre-existing material, or are they only allowed to perform custom materials written specifically for that LARP? Do you have that ability? Do your players have that ability? It's a very important one to think about if you don't want the 100th drunken sailor at your campfire. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I would love it if we could think about it a little bit more before we let it happen. Then there's why. Do we perform because we want a cool performance? Or do we want to have that performance there for character or story development? And this is where the earlier thing comes in, about we cannot look at performing arts in LARP from only a performance standpoint, because that would throw away the entirety of the drama classes where we are talking to each other and playing scenes, and where somebody prepares a really dramatic scene because they know you and you are going to be in that scene together, and that scene reflects your character relationship that is going incredibly south, and you're going to channel all of that into that scene and escalate it. That doesn't happen in a performance. That happens in moments of character and story development that we can facilitate when we play, and when we let ourselves be taken away and explore our characters through that performing arts lens. And then there's how. There is actual performance, where I have to play the guitar and sing. There is representation, where I can sing along to a pre-recorded tape. Both is valid, and both are valid choices. But realize that by picking actual performances, you might be telling a lot of your players that they cannot participate, especially if your LARP has a competitive element around art, or art in the game needs to be objectively good. Because not everybody can do that, wants to do that, or has the skills, the will, and the lack of stage fright to do that. Because stage fright is something that comes in here very real and very hard. And then finally, there's the situation. Is it spontaneous? Is it that song around the campfire? Or is it rehearsed like we did for the Dutch run of Cabaret? We rehearsed for 10 months, 1 full day every month, and it was completely fixed. Everybody knew exactly what they had to do. And it's a sliding scale. There's a magic in between somewhere. I haven't found it yet. And then finally, there's that audience. Like I said, we're adding a whole magic circle. And players playing an audience do not know how to react, so they tend to resort to what they know, which is sitting still, listening attentively, and clapping at the end, exactly like all of you are doing right now. But sometimes that's not good. We're doing an interactive art form. We need that participation, but we need to teach our audience how to participate in a way that's respectful of the art form, of LARP, and of the people performing and being vulnerable. Those are the sliders I'm proposing. Please come and talk to me if you want to talk about this subject. I would love to expand on this, maybe write for the book next year. And I would like to explicitly thank Orc for providing these pictures from the Dutch run of Cabaret, as well as the original designers who so graciously allowed us to run this game and start this chain of performance art in LARP and the design thinking. Thank you very much.